2014. I'm just going to give a very fast one. And I was diagnosed with breast cancer in 2014. And when I was diagnosed, initially, I didn't even believe it because it came as a small lump. And it was not painful, it was nothing. When it came, it was something that was not usual about my body. So of course I had to go to the only doctor I've known for a very long time, except for my daddy here, who's sitting down here. The doctor that treats me, who is the one that gives, the gynecologist that delivers my babies. The last time I had a baby was 15 years ago. And I can tell you that before cancer came in, that was the last time I went to the hospital for anything. I've never slept in the hospital for a whole day or till the next day in my life. So when it came in, I didn't know any other person to go to than that gynecologist. And then he inspected it and said, it's a mole, it's true. It's a lump, it's true. But maybe you should check it. I don't think that it is cancerous, but just check it. And of course, it wasn't, for me, it's not cancerous. So I just believed that. But that was the time when Ebola came into Nigeria. I was not going to go near hospital because I heard that's where they got it. So I didn't want to go to Ebola. I didn't want to go to the hospital. So they were sorry taxi you work on the trailer. So I stayed on my lane. I didn't go to any hospital. 3 months after, Nigeria was declared certified free of Ebola. So I had the opportunity, we got to go to the hospital to do a mammogram. On getting to the place, they did the mammogram and the result came out. And the result said that it was benign, it was not cancerous. So of course, just like my expectation, it can never be cancerous. So I continued with that, but they told me that please, you have to get it out. Even though it's not cancerous, get it out because if it stays there, it can become cancerous. I said, okay. About a month after, my parents don't stay in Nigeria. So, and I'm that kind of person that is my backbone. I don't have any other backbone. But what I'm trying to say is that I don't fear easily. Whatever as it is the way I'm going to put it down. I'm sorry, it may not go down well, but it's just me and the way God has created me. I'm so sorry about that. But I decided that time, I didn't tell my parents. I didn't even mention it to them. So I decided to do this surgery. They didn't know about it. I finished my surgery. My plan is when I finish my surgery, I have the only person I have business with is God. He's the one that created me. He's the one that, he knows how a lump got in there. I don't know. So I told God, I didn't tell anybody. After the surgery, I called my parents and I told my parents that I did a surgery. What surgery? I said I removed a lump. My mom almost fainted on the phone. You did what? I said, yes, I did surgery. Don't worry, it's nothing. I've removed it. Am I not talking to you? Okay, we thank God, it's okay. Well, that was all I said. Then the result came out 2 weeks after. I took the specimen to Miki on myself. Not that somebody carried it for me and they made a mistake. I took it by myself. I took it to Miki, and on getting to Miki, the result came out like 2 weeks after. Of course, because it was benign initially, I wasn't expecting anything else. The result came out and it was sealed in an envelope. And the person that gave it to me said, take it straight to your doctor. They said, take it straight to your doctor. I said, okay. While I was going that day, I was almost close to my house. I just thought to myself, why would anybody give me something about me and tie it and say I should not open it? Come on, I opened it. I was driving and then I saw the thing. The English, malignant, this, that. The first time I would hear malignant in my life was when I was in primary 6. So I know the meaning of malignant. I know it's when something goes ahead. But in this case, I didn't understand the meaning of malignant. I was so sure that malignant is not for me, or probably they were just describing their own thing. Then all of a sudden, of course, I was scared, but I didn't want to scare myself. Immediately, I read it. I read the signature of the doctor that signed it. The pathologist that did it was there. His name and his signature was there. When I saw that, I quickly Googled his name. His number was not there. You know, Victor's result sheet, it will have a general phone number, but not the person in question's number. I Googled his name. Luckily, the pathologist came up and with that name, so I just assumed it was him. So immediately, I saw his phone number there and I called that number. When I called him, can somebody get me water? When I called the number, luckily the man picked it up at first attempt. I spoke with him boldly. I said, am I speaking with his name is Dr. Keshiro. He was working at Meteor there. Now he's the MD of Arrival Life. I said, is this Dr. Keshiro? He said, yes, the pathology. I said, there's a result. There's a result here that you signed, but you didn't put. There's a form and a letter here that you signed, but you didn't put the result. He said, you could tell that I was shaking on the other end. Said the result. That was the number on the paper. I gave him the number. Luckily, it was in front of a computer. He typed in the number immediately. I said, I put the result. I have it in front of me right now. At that point, I said, what's the result? You know, of course, it paused. And I said, is it malignant? Is it cancerous? He said yes. At that point, he realized. I guess the way I spoke with him made him not to know that it wasn't a doctor that was speaking with him. If he knew it was a patient, he would have answered me. He said yes, it is malignant. He now said, please, who is speaking with me? I said, the owner of the result. He said, well, madam, you're not supposed to open it. I said, but I've opened it. So, he now said it's malignant. He said, please, madam, take it to your doctor. Of course, I didn't answer him anyway. Whether I dropped the phone, whether I just know that there was nothing between him and I. How I drove home that day, I don't know, but I got home. On getting home, I couldn't go to my house because I would have been the only one at home at that time. So I didn't want to even be alone to have any thoughts surrounding that at all. So I decided to go to a friend's house. Incidentally, her sister-in-law had died that very year. Her husband had cancer of the colon. They just came back from London. So she knows about it. Her son has cancer of the breast, but not cancerous. He just had a lump and they removed it at one time. So she knew something was wrong with me. I didn't tell her. She kept asking me what the problem. I said, nothing. She knew something was wrong. She said, because she was the only one I told about the surgery, not before, but after I had done, because we live very close to each other. She now said, have you heard the result of the surgery? I said, no, I have not. She said, okay. When I was about to leave her house, she asked me again, have you heard the result of the surgery? I said, yes. The result was in front of was on my dashboard. I removed it and gave it to her. She said, yeah. And she knew it. That your attitude had, your countenance had changed seriously. I said, okay. She now said, okay, what are we going to do now? I said, I don't know, but I don't believe this result. She said, okay, we'll scan it, send it to my own surgeon. Let him tell us what it is. She scanned it, she called her surgeon, but unfortunately we couldn't get her surgeon on time. Later she called me the following day. She said, her surgeon said, it is cancerous. This is what you have to do. I said, it's normal. So I waited. I called my own doctor who was supposed to, the surgeon who had treated me. He wasn't around. He said he was out of Lagos. So I said I will wait for him. I went to look for him about 2 days after, so it was a weekend. And when I got to him, he also confirmed that it was cancerous. And he told me what he asked me. I said, it's not me. So I got up. He said, where are you going? I said, I'll get back to you. I left his office because I still assumed it's not for me. We are living in denial. So I left him that day. And I made up my mind that I was not going to let any of these doctors in Nigeria, I'm sorry for touch me. Because why would anybody see my result and tell me that my result is cancerous? What I've already checked before that they said is benign. I said, okay. So I waited. I said nobody was going to touch me in Nigeria. At that point was when I called my parents to give them the good news. Of course, when I say the good news, you know what it means. The kind of reaction I got was not a good one. And of course, it wasn't what I wanted as well. I understand. It can happen to anybody. I understand the way they are also feeling. But of course, immediately we all started trying to come down. They started saying I should come down to America. I've been traveling before, but for this period, every time I tried to go to the embassy, they rejected my visa. At that point, I waited. I still said, no doctor in Nigeria will touch me. There was nothing we didn't do for me to come. But we did say, one thing we didn't do is that we didn't tell them that we were coming for health purpose. Because we had called University of America, who told us to bring over $100,000. Where would I get that from? Even if they give me that money, I won't use it for this treatment. Yes, it's too much money to me. It was just much money. That was why I would not use it for this kind of thing, because I just didn't want to think about it at all. I know when it happens to us, we just want to do anything possible. So I just waited that we will find a way to travel. Instead of using over 100,000 to travel, we still don't know how much we are going to pay for the treatment over there. So we kept trying, and throughout, to tell you, God in His infinite mercy, I waited from 2014 till 2016. I tried again in 2016. You know, I removed the lump the first time. At a point, for some time after that time, I went into depression. After 6 months, I got myself out, because you know, you don't have things. And I said to myself that those people, it was not my results they gave me. It was probably somebody else's result. I forgot to tell you that I went to look for that pathologist I called on the phone. I went to challenge him. I said, you didn't give me my result. The man said, if it's this one I'm talking about, you have this so and type, this is it's called medullary carcinoma. It is cancerous. Though it is not common, but it is cancerous. That because it is medullary carcinoma, he had to check it again, because they don't normally find that kind of cancer. They see it once in a while. The last time he said they saw it was maybe when they were in school reading. When he was telling me, I was thinking to myself that even out of all cancers, my own that is even not that special. It's not my own. You know, so I didn't believe him. So I just left him too. So by the time 6 months after, when I got out of out of depression, I decided that what is going to, as long as I'm still living, as long as I'm still breathing, as long as cancer has not taken my life, I'm going to remain, my faith is going to be with you, God. And I stayed like that. Let me tell you, 1 year after, exactly a year after, this love came back again. It came back again. By the time it came back, I knew that was 2015 ending. I knew he wasn't alive. I kept quiet again. I didn't tell my parents. I didn't tell anybody. But at that period, my parents had to come to Nigeria for one of my younger brother's wedding. We did the wedding. You would think it was my wedding, because I wore the best clothes and I looked very well. Because cancer, I keep saying to it that you cannot scare me. You can't scare me. Yes. So I said to it, all that time we had I didn't know my mother was, in her heart, she was not feeling fine about the whole thing. She was more worried than I was. She was looking at me, but there was nothing they could tell me. And I continued with life. I had not even given them any news about cancer at all. Then she went and reported me to another of my daddy. Then my daddy called me and said to me, we are very close. So when he called me and said, I want to see you, I didn't think anything at all. Because I didn't tell him. Nobody knew. All this time, nobody knew apart from my parents and my immediate family, my nuclear family. So when this happened, I went to see him. And I was expecting us to talk our normal talk. When he came up with, you have this kind of, he was almost in tears when he was telling me. And he didn't tell me. I said, who told you? He said, my mom told you. He said, okay, now that she has told you, you have known about it. She said, what do you want to do about it? I said, we are planning to go abroad. At that time, I was still planning to go abroad to do my treatment. I was not going to let any doctor that told me that it is cancer tell me again. So I continued with life like that, and I didn't bother. After that time, January, when he called me, luckily, I'm the social prefect of my old school association, which means that anything that is going to happen, I broadcast it to everybody. One of us had died like 2 years before. From one of us, her name is Bimbo. I don't remember the lady that died. Yeah, I've forgotten her name, sorry. But she had died, and her mates were celebrating her. They were having a memorial lecture for her. So they sent that message to me. Before that time, all that time that I said I got into depression and I continued, with life, I made sure that I ran away from anything that has cancer. When I'm reading a book and I see cancer, I flee too quick. When I'm on the internet and I see cancer, I quickly stop that, remove that page. I didn't want to hear anything cancer in my ears. So when they sent it into my inbox, it was about cancer. Somebody had died from cancer. I said, what is this word? How will I broadcast this? But I had no choice. So I broadcast it. I sent it to them. But of course, it kept coming back into my box because they will respond, and the thing kept coming into my face. And I said to them. I said in my mind that any level of program, I just didn't want to say anything about cancer. But I can tell, I'll tell you today that on that day I made up my mind I was not going to go for the program. On the morning of the program, I carried my bag, carried my key, and I drove to the venue. My plan was get there, let people see me, that I came, but not to go into that program. I don't want to say anything cancer. But as soon as I got there, I left secondary school about 25 years ago. My old principal, my old VP, my old maths teacher, my old science teacher, about 5 of them, important teachers that we were so scared of back then, they came, they have been invited for the event. Of course, we were all looking very old. Of course, they have grown and all that. So as soon as they came in, we all saw them. We had to go and meet them and greet them. I didn't know the VP recognized her. She just held my hand like this. She said, "You, she's small girl, you've grown big. This. She held my hand. You know, I was walking with the old woman, and she walked me into the hall. Before I realized it, I was already in the hall. When I got into the hall, of course, the thing was staring me in the face everywhere, like this. And I said, what's the point going back? People stay and listen to what they have to say, what they have to say. And I stayed. So while they were saying, they had brought Mrs. Akiredo, who is the first lady of Ondo State today. She's the founder of Record. They had invited her. They had invited Professor. They invited an oncologist from America. They invited another oncologist from East Africa. So the place was filled with oncologists. That was how I knew that we actually have an oncology department in Nigeria. Before then, I never knew there was an oncology department in Europe. I never knew we had oncologists in Nigeria. I know we have surgeons, but not oncologists. So I came, I mean, at the event, after they finished speaking, they asked people who would like to talk, who would like to ask questions. I got up. My question was directly, I was still not interested in the Nigerian people. It was directly for the lady, the oncologist from America, because I'm going to America. And when I get to America, I'm going to contact her. That was my intention. So I got up and I asked her a question about it. But I asked her if it wasn't me. I asked her the question and she answered the question. It was okay. At the end of the program, when they were leaving, I used to be a journalist. I'm still a journalist because I studied mass communication and I do production. I'm a film editor. I do everything media. I went behind to the people that were coming, the people on the high table where they were coming out from, and I met them. It was that white lady I was after, but of course I think it was Professor that was in front. So I interviewed him, just as like a journalist. I asked all the other doctors, I interviewed Professor and the other people because so that they won't know that I'm actually out for that woman. I was just asking a general question. So I collected their phone numbers and everything. And then I got to the white woman and I asked her address and I got every other thing that I wanted to get from her. And then, we left. With the hope that 2 weeks after that time I was supposed to go to the embassy and get my visa. This time around I was prepared for American visa. Before then I wrote to American embassy and I challenged them why they were refusing my visa, that I do not have any history, any bad history with them, so why should they? And they responded in 3 days. Normally American embassy does not answer you. But you see, for me, when I want to do something, I do it. Whether it's a no or yes, I just want to satisfy myself first that I've done it. So 2 weeks after that, I went straight to the embassy. This time it was a bigger no. The lady she didn't even ask so much questions. She looked at the screen, she looked at me. She said she's seeing 2 of my identities on her screen. And you know that you don't ask them questions. When you ask them questions, they just push the paper to you and tell you, go out. You can write or you can reapply. So of course I left very deflated. That was my last hope in 2016. After that day, the following day, I carried my leg in my car and I drove down to LUTH. I'd never been to LUTH before in my life. I didn't even know where LUTH was until that day. So I came to LUTH. I was inside LUTH when I called Professor's number. Luckily, the Professor picked it up immediately and I said I wanted to come and see him. He said, when? I said, right now, I'm inside the LUTH. He said, okay, come to radiotherapy and oncology department. And I came in and I asked somebody and somebody directed me to Professor Atinuke. On getting to Professor Atinuke, my mind was made up. I'll just tell Professor Atinuke that I have somebody who has cancer. By the time I finish telling him, if he gives me his own remedy too, I'll just get up and I'll leave. That was my plan. But getting to Professor that day, when I got to Professor, I didn't know when I started telling him it was me. Maybe it made me feel so comfortable talking to him, I don't know. And he said, when was this? I told him there was a long ride then. And then he said, when was I diagnosed? I said 2014. He shouted, he said 2014? I said, yes, sir. So what have you done since then? I said, nothing, sir. You haven't done anything. Immediately he called another doctor, Dr. Alabi. He said, he cannot examine me, but this is a female. Let Dr. Alabi examine me. Dr. Alabi took me away and examined me too. And there was that lump there. And Dr. Alabi said, Professor Atinuke said, before we can touch you, you have to do this series of examination because we don't know whether it has spread. 2 years is too long a time for you to stay without any treatment. And of course, they gave me all the list and I did everything at Atinuke. All this treatment was almost 200,000 or over. It was like doing a full MRI. But something annoyed me when I got there. Each time I asked any of the doctors, each time they finished my treatment, the doctors would be like, so what are you doing here? Why are you here? I was already irritated before I got to you people. Don't ask me questions. It's your work. I didn't say that to them. But I was thinking inside me, it's your work. Don't you know why you're asking me? Why am I here? By the time the third doctor examined me, she also said the same thing. At that point, I had to tell me, breast lump. Oh, because she couldn't understand why I was doing all that test. All the organs, because they realized that all the organs were perfect. Everything was still in perfect condition. And the lady was like, wow. So I brought the results to Professor Atinuke and everything. Wow. At that time, that first of all kept our hearts at peace. That okay, we are going to start treatment for you. One of the things I was asked to do is immunohistochemistry. In treating cancer, there's something called immunohistochemistry. This is to determine, you can put 5 women down with history of cancer or with cancer, and their treatment may not be the same thing because your immunohistochemistry determines the kind of treatment that will be given to you. There's one, sir, please help me out, sir. There's a PR, you check the PR. R2, yes, R2, and which other one? ERPR. There's an ER, there's a PR, and there's an R2. So when you check this three, when you fall under this category, they will determine the kind of drug that will be given to you. Some people have 2 of these categories. Some people even have the 3. Some people have just 1, and some people don't have any. You don't fall in between, which means that the nurse cannot recommend a drug for you. It means that the nurse cannot recommend a drug for you. So if you fall under any of those ones, they will still find something to give to you. The worst of them all is the ER2. At the time I was doing my treatment, if you fall under the ER2, the cost of your drug every 3 weeks for about 3 years is 1 million naira. Every 3 weeks. Please, where do you expect people to get this kind of money in Nigeria? I fell into the triple negative. I fell into the triple negative, which means I'm in the hands of God. That's what it means. Because if it doesn't have a drug for you, there's nothing you're using. Apart from they will do chemo and then they will do you radiotherapy. There's no drug that you would even use to say, okay, this is what, we'll be suppressing it or something. So when that happened, we started the treatment immediately. I remember Dr. Alabi said, we're not going to take chances on you. Though my result was not supposed to come out, that's my immunohistochemistry was not supposed to come out until 3 weeks after. You've stayed too long for you not to have anything. We're going to start you on so drugs. Then when your result comes out, we can then change to whatever it is. But he came out and said, triple negative. So we had to just continue with radiotherapy and chemotherapy. And it was this process that gave birth to this we're having here. I was able for the first time, because I don't go to hospitals, to see the ills of all our hospitals in Nigeria. To know that our health sector is really lacking. Our health sector really needs serious help. If I had gone abroad, at that time I realized that, you see, when God is doing things, we don't understand. We cannot understand. We keep asking him, is the one they call Obaka Diosi? We don't understand. He will look at you, a rich man, that you even have the money to treat cancer and give you cancer. He will look at you as a poor man, that you don't even have money to treat cancer and he will give you cancer. As a thin, fat, tall, short, it's a no respecter of anyone. And this was how I was able to see all those things and learn all that I'm saying today. While I was going through my treatment, I was jotting down everything that I wanted to do. I was jotting down everything I was saying. By the time I finished with by the time I did my third chemotherapy, I called Professor Dick. I'm not doing anything. Well, like it or not, said, okay, you know what we'll do? Take one more. Then we'll stop here and do radiotherapy. So I said, okay. So I managed to take, because that chemotherapy, some people here know what chemotherapy is about. You would pray for your enemy not to have chemotherapy. Chemotherapy is not fun at all. You don't even, the third one I vomited, I was vomiting, I was pooing, I was doing everything right from the hospital here. I kept telling my driver, every bag we see, you must stop. I want to use your toilet. Any eatery, stop. I want to use your toilet before we come home. The car, I vomited everywhere. That was on that day. So by the fourth time, I rested to take radiotherapy. By the time I finished radiotherapy, I continued with my chemotherapy and I completed. By this time, I started writing. What I'd written was enough to finish it, to start a blog. So I just put it out there. I wrote it, I put it online. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, I put it online for everybody to know this is what I have gone through. And this is what the scourge that we have in our midst. It is real. Let everybody go do a screen. We all have cancer cells in our bodies, but we have cells in our bodies. Cells are supposed to grow at the stage they die, and then they grow again. And when a cell gets to a stage when it's supposed to die, and it refuses to die, that is when it turns cancerous. Nobody knows how that happens. It is not contagious, it is not. It just happens. So I had to put all that out and let people know that this is what is in our midst. This is the scourge in our midst. And from nowhere, the things that came to me, let's kill it, everything came from, I don't even know. Everything that how this started just came maybe spiritually. And I was writing down. And before I knew it, at the end of that year, last year, December, exactly a year today, I came here, I decided that I was going to come and give back to God for everything, because I looked at my life from the beginning of my life to that time, till this time, to that time that I'm talking about, and I know that nothing has been in my power. Nothing has been in my power. Everything is just in God's direction. And I decided to start. And this is how this foundation. Thank you very much. Along the line, there's something I did not say to you. 2013, I have this auntie living in London. All my life, she's always lived in London. But she comes home every December. You know those Ijebu women? They don't joke with home. We must go home for December and see our people. And then we go back to wherever we are based. She comes home daily. So she called me 2013. Her daughter was in Nigeria. I told her daughter to come to me. I said I should buy her Jobelyn. Mommy Francisca, Mrs. Olamio and her name. She said I should buy her Jobelyn. And she said I should buy like 20 packs. And I thought to myself, oh, Mama Galaga, he's like, this is in London. She was buying chemist. I said, okay, no problem. This Jobelyn, I went to the first chemist, they didn't have enough. I bought all the ones they had and they had enough. I bought it. I went to the second, I live in Lekki. I started from Lekki till I reached Ogudu. Yes. Because I was actually going to Ogudu. I was still going through chemist to look for that drug, Jobelyn. And I bought them for her. I was just thinking to myself, because I looked at it, I saw a supplement. She was a supplement in London. But I didn't say anything, so I just bought the drugs and I gave to her daughter who took them back to her. 2014 when I was diagnosed, my friend didn't know. 2015, a friend of mine who knew that I was diagnosed, we were talking about it. And she said, why don't you buy Jobelyn? I'd forgotten about that drug, Jobelyn. She said, why don't you buy Jobelyn? I said, Jobelyn, what is it for? She said, it's very good. There is a supplement. It helps you, it's an antioxidant, and then it also helps you to raise your immune system. Even HIV/AIDS people, patients use it. I was like, is it that good? Anybody can use it. I said, okay, give me the name. She wrote Jobelyn. I didn't remember that drug. It was when I got to the chemist and I bought and they brought the drug. I said, isn't this the same drug that I was asked to buy plenty of that time? So I bought it and I started using it. I started using it before I met Professor Dekike. When I met Professor Dekike, and they said there was no drug for me. I told him, I said, there's this drug I use, Jobelyn. He said, I know it. I said, can I continue using it? He said, it's a supplement, you can continue using it. So you don't have any drugs, you can continue using it. He said, okay, thank you, sir. And I continued using it. Jobelyn is so expensive. At the time I was buying for my auntie, a pack of 3 was 1.5. Outside, it was not expensive inside though. I'll get there. At that time, to me, it was expensive, 1.5 at that time. At the time I was buying it, it was 2.5 at the market, especially in Lekki. So each time I didn't have Jobelyn, I didn't use Jobelyn, I always felt somehow not complete. I don't know why or how that happens. I always feel that I'm lacking something. But when I start to use it again, I feel normal. I wasn't using more than 1 in the morning, more than 1 in the afternoon. Nobody recommended this drug apart from that my friend. She's not a nurse, she's not anything. She just knows that somebody that she knows that has HIV is also using, and they say it's good for everybody. So I went to buy it. When I realized the way Jobelyn works, especially during the treatment of my chemotherapy, even though I was bomb-beaten, I never for one day, my doctors are around here, fall ill from low immunity, and there was never a day when my blood count was not normal enough for me to take chemotherapy because I was on Jobelyn. I knew that. So when I started, at that time I started wondering, I said I would like to meet this people. I would like to know how this thing works or where it is stored. Not knowing that what they're looking for in Sokoto is inside the pocket of our school. So when I started the foundation, I started a WhatsApp group and I called all of my friends. When I started with WhatsApp, you know WhatsApp group, when they put you there, it's not your, they don't take your, they don't request your acceptance. You just find yourself in a group. I had about 120 something people on it. When people saw that it was about cancer, some people deleted themselves. Some people just didn't want to go near it. So the ones that are close to me, in fact, there's this particular friend of mine, Bumi. She was my chief bridesmaid when I did my wedding in 1998. But she has been living in Ireland since then. She was also on the group. She removed herself as soon as she saw cancer. Then I called her because she's close to me. I went back. Why do you remove yourself? And she doesn't have the heart to listen to that kind of discussion. I don't worry. Nothing is going to happen. I'm bringing you back online. So we started discussing. In the course of our discussion, I mentioned Jobelyn. And then some people that know him give their testimony about Jobelyn. And then she now called me later outside of the group and said, don't you know that Jobelyn you're talking about? Don't you know the maker of Jobelyn? I said, no. She said, Daddy Okubene. I said, who's Daddy Okubene? So my stepdad. When we were young, Bumi was living in Ojota. I was living in Ogudu. We went to the same school, so we're so close. We're always together when we're in school and even when we're at home. Most of the times I'm in their house, but I was not close to her stepfather. I would only see her mom and we would leave. And I didn't know so much again about her. I said, are you serious? She said, yes. I said, please, I want to see her. I want to meet her. She said, you know, she's in Ireland. And I said to her, she said, go and meet my mom. I've not seen her mom in 20 years. So I go and look for my mom. She will direct you to him. I said, and somehow, from the beginning of January to before October, somehow I just didn't have the time. But when we decided that this event was going to take place, I decided to look for her. I went to look for her mom that very day. I called and called all her phones. She wasn't picking. I went to their house, nobody. There was no way to get her. So I left. One other day again, I wasn't really coming to see her, but I came to Ogudu to say, let me just drive to Ojota and try again, maybe I'll see more. On getting there, luckily, the first call I called, she picked it up. And then she was at home. She was about to go, and I went there, and I went to see her. When I saw her, I told her, Mommy, she said, okay, no problem, let me just call the man. Speak with him, explain to him yourself what you want, tell him. And she gave me the place. And then I spoke to him and I told him what we needed, what I experienced, and I told him I would like to see him. He said, okay, are you around, sir? He said, okay, you can come. I'm in the office. I'm not in the office, but I'll come to the office because of you and wait for you. And I went. And that was it. And that was how I met Otumba Olajumo. At that point, I decided that we must have him with us on this table with my two most respected professors in this institution, and all the beautiful people here today. We want to hear them talk. We want to know if there is hope for cancer patients. We want to know what the government is doing about the cancer patients in Nigeria, the machines that we have in place. We want to know the orthodox way. We want to know the alternative way. What is going on with cancer? Thank you very much.